This is CNBC bringing up Alan Lichtman's prediction that Harris will beat Donald Trump. Now, this story came out September 5th, and since then, Nate Silver has had wildly different predictions. And just recently, Alan Lichtman and Nate Silver got into it on X. This is very interesting because it looks like, I'm going to say this right at the beginning so we don't bury the lead, Trump's going to win. And we'll break this down and I'll explain why. But Alan Lichtman is the professor who has what he calls the keys to the White House. He says that he's been right on every election except for Bush v. Gore going back to the 80s. Nate Silver has a forecast model which says, based on what we're seeing today, here are your probabilities. Nate Silver also weighs the bias of each of these polls. Now, Nate Silver's calling out this professor, saying his keys are ridiculous. Trump's favored to win by his own methodology, and Lichtman's just like, nah. But I agree with Nate Silver. Let me show you what they're saying, and then we'll get into why Trump's going to win. Lichtman says Nate Silver has finally seen the light. Weeks after I predicted a Harris victory, he has come down from a 2/3 probability of a Trump victory to a 58% probability of a Harris victory. Nate Silver says the funny thing is, if you actually apply his keys correctly based on how he's applied them in the past, they predict a Trump victory. More about this soon, LOL. Lichtman says, Nate, you don't have the faintest idea about how to apply my keys. You are neither a historian or a political scientist or have any academic credentials of any kind. Oh,
shots fired.
You got him there.
Oh,
Nerd fight. Everybody knows in debate when the guy says, oh, I'm in Mensa. You know who's losing. He says, remember, you were wrong when you said the keys could early predict Obama's reelection. And Silver responded, I've spent way too much time on this and have a lot of receipts from how you've applied your keys in the past. At least 7 of the keys, maybe 8, clearly favor Trump. Sorry, brother. That's what the keys says. The keys say, unless you're admitting they're totally arbitrary. And he may as well. I look at this guy and I'm like, what does the CIA go to Lichtman and say, hey, here's who's going to win? Just say it. Because when you look at the keys to the White House, which we've got right here, I'm going to go through them as quick as I can because we do this periodically. And we're going to ask the panel about this. And you guys watching at home live, get your super chats in, and then we'll see what people think. So he's got 13 criteria. If more than, what do they say? If more than 6 are false, let me see how they break this down. Is it 6 or is it 8? Let's. I want to make sure I get the numbers right here. They say the results are in. He's saying Harris is going to win. Lichtman revealed his decision on Thursday. The Democrats hold the White House. His forecast is based on the historical index model. He developed it, analyzed the political landscape through the lens of 13 true or false statements. If 6 or more of the statements are false, Trump will win. All right, number 1, party mandate. After the midterm elections, the incumbent party holds more seats in the House of Representatives. Okay, clearly that's false. The Republicans are winning. Mm-hmm. So that's one for Trump. Contest. There is no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. He put true.
Which is false.
Which is false.
That is false.
That's false.
Biden's gone. Harris was put in.
She was
Dean Phillips,
literally
RFK Jr. There were many people who were Marianne Williamson, but he said no serious. Yeah. Okay, well RFK Jr.
The only reason it wasn't serious is because the Democratic Party used their lawfare to destroy the candidates who were pushing back against Biden.
So that's 2 for Trump. Hold on. Let's take it at face value. And he's saying it doesn't matter if they cheat or otherwise. If there's no contest for the incumbent party nomination, that's it. And so the argument I've heard is he applies this only to the convention. Is the convention in disarray? All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to say I take that away from Trump. It's true. Okay. Incumbency. The incumbent party candidate is the sitting president. False. Yeah, it's Kamala Harris. The next one is third party. There's no significant third party campaign. That is true. Well, RFK's out. All right, so it's only 2 for Trump. He needs 4 more. Short-term economy. The economy is not in a recession during the election campaign. True. Are we in a recession?
We've technically been in a recession for a while.
Yes.
Chief economist for Bloomberg, I think it was, said that based on these indicators, we use a conservative model of determining when we're in a recession. But based on where we're at now, this is a recession.
Yeah, they've changed the definition of the word recession. It used to be 2 back-to-back quarters of minus 1.5.
Not to mention, we've got this from Post Millennial. Big Lots is shuttering 350 stores. And I know you guys, I'm glad you're sitting down for this because I'm worried about you when I tell you this, but Hooters shut down 40 locations.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I know. When Hooters, now look, we can joke all day about Hooters, but they got wings and they got boobs. Mm-hmm. And if you can't sell those, holy crap. Okay, so I don't know how, his argument is the government has not asserted a recession is happening. So there's a question there. And mine is, are you asking, is there a recession, or are you asking, what the government is saying.
Right.
But he says the economy is not in a recession. Okay, he did not put the government says the economy is not in a recession. I give that to Trump. I think based on the metrics, based on the fact that you can go around asking everybody that prices are really high, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, 100%. So the Fed has acted, right, to try to throttle inflation for one, right? That's why we have interest rate hikes all over the place, which has made the real estate market tight, which has then made everything else tight because real estate's usually a leading indicator out there as it relates to the economy. So, yes, I mean, and not to mention, we hit the inverted yield curve a few years back when this whole thing started kicking off with Biden. So all the indicators have been there. We've had two negative quarters in terms of, not negative, but smaller quarters in terms of growth for GDP, which, yes, all those things indicate.
And also your rate of income growth has not exceeded the actual inflation rate. So in fact, people are getting poorer in real terms. And I think that's what matters most.
All right. So I think we agree. The economy is not in a recession, but wages are down, prices are up, and people are struggling. I think that favors Trump
For sure.
You know what?
If it doesn't, that'd be crazy.
But you know what? Let's just we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. We'll put a pin in that one. Long-term economy, real per capita economic growth during the term equals or exceeds mean growth during the two previous terms. True. Well, that's a very academic thing. I'm going to ignore it, and we're going to come back to 5. We're going to come because look. Because Trump's still going to win. Policy change. The incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. True. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She's the one who signed 33 tie-breaking votes in the Senate to make what is happening now happen. How is she affecting major change when for the past 3.5 years, everything happening is her? Nothing's going to change.
You even had Joe Biden recently saying that Kamala Harris had been involved in every decision he's made, and that she was involved in everything foreign and domestic policy.
She said she was in the room as it related to Abbey Gate
Right.
in Afghanistan.
She
was
was
the
the
last one in the room for
Oops.
But so for this one, the incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. No, they don't. Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. In fact, I think Gallup and a bunch of other polls show that people view Trump is the change candidate.
Yes.
And so that's 3 for Trump. Next is social unrest. There is no sustained social unrest during the term. We have had ongoing anti-Israel protests on the campuses. It's going on for over a year, and it just happened again the other day.
Yep.
Well, it happened
not?
in protest of Netanyahu in New York. And of course, you can't forget that followed directly the BLM protests of 2020 that continued, through the election, that there were a lot of, there's been a lot of civil unrest for years. And it's not just civil unrest on the left. We've seen civil unrest on the right. As soon as the COVID lockdowns came in, there were a bunch of Michiganders who went to Lansing and said, give us our jobs back. You can't destroy our businesses like this.
All right. Yes. And so the argument I've heard is the anti-Israel pro-Palestine protests are not sustained social unrest. They're localized protests, so we don't count those.
I don't think that's accurate because they are funded internationally.
I know. What I'm saying is they're making arguments for why it does or does not count. So you know what? Let's come back to number 8 and number 5 and just say right now there are 3 for Trump. Number 9, scandal. The incumbent administration is untainted by major scandal.
Oh my God.
He put true. True. Okay.
That's crazy.
Let me just start by saying Abbey Gate was like 4 scandals in one. The failure of the Afghanistan withdrawal is a massive failure and was a major scandal. They gave up Bagram Air Force Base in the middle of the night, abandoned the Afghan security forces. These guys were landing helicopters and running and fleeing. The Taliban comes and seizes all the weapons. Regular Afghani citizens were raiding and looting Bagram Air Force Base. Then, on top of all of this, 13 American servicemen and women were killed in a bombing. And that's just one scandal, right?
Right.
And then when they were bringing the bodies home, Joe Biden checks his watch, and the media lies about it. The Abbey Gate scandals, and then the scandal continues, in which at the families invite Trump to Arlington Cemetery. He agrees to come, and then the media and the Democrats attack Donald Trump, and then all the families one by one start coming out and saying, "We invited you. You didn't come. This is your fault." And that's just a chain of events in numerous scandals stemming from the Afghan withdrawal scandal. When the Afghan withdrawal botched withdrawal happened, that's when Joe Biden's approval rating actually started going down. So now, what are we looking at? Is that 4? That's four for Trump. We're counting. Yep. All right, here we go. We got a couple more. He needs 2 more, and we're ignoring number 8, number 5. We are siding with Lichtman on this one. And I'm still, guys. I'm going to show you proof that it looks like Trump is going to win. I want to be very careful on how I say this, but there's a better indicator. All right, the next one is incumbent charisma. The incumbent party candidate is charismatic or a national hero. False.
Not a chance.
Agreed. No. I agree with Lichtman.
If he said true to that, I would have walked out of the room. I would have just been like, I'm out of here. I'm
so
done.
That makes 5 for Trump, right? I'm keeping tally.
Yep. Okay, now we still got a couple more, and Trump needs only 1 more to win. Mm-hmm. Challenger charisma. The challenging party candidate is not charismatic or a national hero.
Well, that's ridiculous. What? That's
Donald Trump, reality TV celebrity, is not charismatic? Look.
Or national
okay.
hero. He got shot.
He got shot, and he stands up after getting shot, going against every biological urge that we have in ourselves to say, hey, I'm okay. You guys need to fight.
I'm going to give this to Lichtman.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
You know why? Because I don't need it. Uh-huh. I don't need this to make his model say Trump will win.
Fair, but
I'm ignoring
Trump. If Trump's anything, he's charismatic, though. My goodness.
Okay, but the argument they make is Trump is divisive and half the country hates his guts.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, because he's not a Reagan, where he's a movie star. So fine. I'm gonna ignore number 8, number 5 for right now. We're gonna ignore that, even though we think we have an argument for why it should be true. No, you can have it, Lichtman. Because we got 5 points for Trump and needs only 1 more. And the next one is 12. Foreign military failure. The incumbent administration suffers no major failure in foreign or military affairs. Abbey Gate and the Afghanistan withdrawal. 6. Trump wins. Next up. 13. Foreign military success. The incumbent administration achieves a major success in foreign and military affairs. False. That is 7 for Donald Trump. And then if we want to be nice and go back and look at number 8 for social unrest, and we want to look at short-term economy, Trump's got 9. 9 of 13. That predicts a Trump victory. But let's just get rid of economy. We can get rid of charisma. We can get rid of social unrest. Trump still wins. Yeah. And then I'll throw you the very last one. Shout out to Pro-American Politics on X, who says, this is way more predictive than Lichtman's Keys model. It's predicted every election accurately since 1952. And what is this? Party affiliation for every presidential election going back to 1948. And the only incorrect assessment was 1948. Every time party affiliation was favored, every time there was an election, the party that was favored won. So in 1952, Republicans were favored, they won. 1956, Republicans were favored, they won. 1960, Democrats were favored, they won. You can go all the way down the list. Even 2020, Democrat party affiliation, Democrats won. Right now, as of 2024, Republicans have a 5-point party affiliation advantage, predicting, along with all of these going back to 1952, that Donald Trump will win. That being said, you guys better go out and vote.
Yeah, for sure. When you're saying party affiliation, is that the amount of people that are registered for this party or favorability towards the party?
Well, so let me clarify. It says, which political party do you think can do a better job of handling the problem you think is most important? The Republican Party or the Democratic Party?
Okay.
The pushback they've given is, well, this is arbitrary. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Gallup asks people, what is the most important problem in the country? They then show the issues mentioned as the most important problem. In 2020, COVID-19 was considered the most important problem. And when asked, majority of people favored the Democrats on the most important problem.
Lunatics.
Anyway, though, right now,
I get the point.
Economy and immigration are the top issues.
Yeah, of course that's going to go to Trump.
Boom.
For sure.
Trump wins.
Yep.
Now go vote because this is shadow campaign.
Yeah, and just everybody listening and watching, let me tell you one reason it is so important to vote. Yeah, like a state like West Virginia or Wyoming or one of these other big Republican states. Of course, he's going to win. Yes, he's going to win these states. But the popular vote, we got to bank popular votes, because if he can get over the hump on the popular vote too, then it's going to be harder for them to delegitimize the election, just like we did in 2016. You got to bank votes. If he won West Virginia by almost 70% last time, let's get to 75 or whatever that number.
Wasn't it 86%?
Yeah, I think it was about 70.
70?
Yeah, it was about 70.
Maybe it was Wyoming that was 86.
Yeah, Wyoming was the only one ahead of us.
To go back to the litmus test that basically decides the outcomes of this this predicted model. For me, my biggest concern is the the escalatory trap that we're in with Russia. So for people like me that are paying attention, the obvious answer to who is most likely to de-escalate it is Donald Trump. So I think that you go down the line of important questions like that for people like, what's your highest priority? I think you're going to get, as they said, a 5-point lead. I'm surprised it's not higher, to be honest, for Donald Trump. But
oh, dude, this Israel stuff right now is freaking me out.
Me too.
And the Russia stuff, obviously, you got Trudeau being like, by all means, fire American artillery shells and long-range missiles into Russia, and Putin's like, nuclear war. Like if American missiles land in sovereign Russian territory, that's war, and they're just like, okay.
Biden said they eventually said apparently that Ukraine was not to use the new long-range weapons that were
Storm
sent
Shadows
to go deep into Russia, which I thought was interesting. But
he also said he would never give them F-16s.
He also,
and he did.
Yes, many promises. Yeah. Every single promise that was made was broken. I mean, we already have troops on the ground in Ukraine anyway. We have guys in Kyiv who are.
They were there before Russia invaded.
Yeah, but now they're. Now they're helping the Wall Street Journal had a bunch of this stuff, but yeah, now they're like helping the targeting systems and all of that kind of stuff. So
any other time that would be classified as a co-belligerent.
There was that whistleblower. Is it Teixeira? Texeier.
Teixeira.
Yeah, he whistleblew
in Massachusetts. That guy.
Yes, and he said that there was boots on the ground in Ukraine, and now he's like in jail.
I just want to.
The concern that I have is that the Biden-Harris administration is going to try and concoct more ways that the U.S. is at war before the election, because a wartime administration usually wins.
Yes, you're right.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.